Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to my recap of the November 23rd Inside Maxis. I have up on the screen a summary of what was covered that SimGuru Frost tweeted. I, however, am not going to go over it in the order that it was done in the live stream, but I will be covering the things that are noted there. But what I'm going to start with is the new Neighborhood Stories gameplay, i.e. the story progression coming to the game on November 30th. With that update. So one of the first things that they answered in the blog post, which I will link down below, is if you don't want Sims to autonomously change, they've worked with the goal that you, as the player, choose how the neighborhood stories affect your game. And there's two ways that it can happen. And one is you can direct your sim to influence a neighbor sim to consider a life change, or two, a neighbor sim might autonomously consider something, but then they'll call and ask your sim for input. Along with this, we're getting two new aspirations. One is Neighborhood Confidant, and the other one is Villainous Valentine. I will show screenshots or video clips from the live stream so you can see them. They are only one tier aspirations, and the Villainous Valentine is a devious one. That's essentially where all the mischief and the two other ones like that. And then the Neighborhood Confidant is a popularity aspiration. Now, you're going to see this on November 30th. Like I already said, that's when it comes to your game. At the moment, you need to have at least one friendship outside the household to trigger this because it's done by Sims that you currently know. Later on, that may change. Well, that's supposed to change later, but this is being rolled out gradually. So that's what's happening right now. And then some people who have eco lifestyle and get together may be familiar with these because they are currently right now in your game if you have those packs, depending on the two things. But they're going to base game to help work with this. Now, one thing that they're going to have is there's going to be gameplay settings to tune life changes neighbor sims can and cannot have, and the controls are going to be layered, so it's going to allow a mix and match of rules down to individual households. And neighborhood story settings are on a per save basis. So if you have played with Sims 3, you're probably familiar and reminded of story progression, but story progression and neighborhood stories both allow Sims all over the game to experience life changes. However, there are two key differences. In Sims 3, story progression is one giant system that can only be turned on or off, so either it's all or nothing. And Neighborhood Stories adds the rich gameplay settings that were mentioned, and therefore it alleviates the issue of having all or nothing, but you solve the fact that you as the player will choose how the Neighborhood Stories affects your game. And in Sims 3, story progression can affect a wide range of factors, as it is, since that game is over. However, Neighborhood Stories right now will have a much smaller range of life changes, but that's because the work they're doing right now is on the underlying system that drive the life changes, plus the fact that we have the gameplay settings more detailed than they had in Sims 3. So they're working on that, and they will eventually expand it. So that's sort of it in a nutshell, and you will have seen some examples that they had pre-recorded in and played in the live stream behind. Now, moving on, the next thing they gave us, well, not the next thing I want to talk about for me is they gave us an update on the NPC overhaul. And to be specific, NPC means, in their mind, flagship Sims, flagship characters. So the Goths, the Calientes, and those are the two they gave some pictures of, and we're going to talk about that, but I assume that means like the land grabs and all of those Sims that are placed in the game to start with and that you associate with the game. Now, they did not say whether when they make the changes, because they haven't said when this is going to happen. They're just giving us sort of like some impact in some letting us see a bit of the process as we go along, not when it's actually going to be coming into our game. So what they did show was they showed the before or the current of how Mortimer Goth, Bella Goth, Dina and Dina Caliente look, and then their the concept art for how their face will look and their color of their face and the shape after. But that's concept art. It's not how it actually is in the game, because obviously concept art would have to be changed into an actual sim. and it's not finished, it's not finalized, it's just right now it's work in progress, so it's just to see what they currently look like. So with Mortimer, they made him look quite a lot older. Can't say I don't like it that much, but maybe once it actually goes in the game, it's not going to look quite that old. And the hairstyles and the hairs are exactly the same because they haven't done that part of the concept art. So that's still to come. They talked about the fact that they were thinking of giving Bella, a new hairstyle, and giving the Caliente sisters changing the color of their hair slightly. So Dina is got that not very nice blonde that they're talking about giving it a different blonde, and for Nina changing her red hair to be more like an auburn hair. So that's sort of what they were saying. And then for Mortimer, they mentioned possibly a more refined mustache. So that would be a new mustache, I'm guessing, that would be coming to the game that they don't have already. So those are just sort of the before and the concept art for the after, not the actual after. That's just right now. So then the next thing I'm going to talk about was that they mentioned that with the next Inside Maxis, that will be in January 2022, because we're not getting one in December, they're going to give us more information on the work they've been doing on the Pronouns update. They didn't say when the Pronouns update itself was coming, just that they're going to have essentially a talk about it and have some of the people involved talking about the work that they've been doing, so we can hear more about that in the next Inside Maxis. Also, we're going to have a new scenario coming, limited time, I'm sure, called Surviving the Holidays, which we already knew the details of because it was found in the file. So I have that up from when we knew it already, and that's December 1st. So after the game update, the day after the game update, essentially when the current limited time scenario ends, and that will be in the game then. Also on December 1st, we're going to get our first Sims Delivery Express SDX. We're going to be getting a hairstyle. They didn't show the hairstyle. They didn't give any information about the hairstyle, just that we're getting a hairstyle. I'm kind of speculating, wondering whether there's going to be a male hairstyle, because of the fact that, on December 2nd, we're getting that modern men's kit. So modern menswear. So, and then the other thing is the week after, the first full week of December, we're supposed to be getting another Sims Delivery Express, and that is going to be some holiday items that you can see up there on the screen. It's a screenshot. The drink is an actual drink, and the bottom right-hand corner, that is actually food, so I assume that's going to be something else we can make in the game. The item that looks like fruitcake is actually a build-by item. We still have our fruitcake that Sims mostly dislike, but I get the odd one that likes it. But there's going to be a build by, and everything else there is build by. That's going to be added with that second Sims Delivery Express. Now, they started with the video clips of everything in the kit that's coming next week. I will show it going fast while we talk a little bit about next week's game update. So we know in next week's game update, we got the laundry list on the 16th of November. And I have to say it was a little shorter than I would have liked, given we haven't had very many bug fixes for a while. But it did have some pretty good bug fixes on it. And I'm hoping, and it still is kind of long, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that maybe we're going to get more bug fixes than what's on this list. Just maybe nothing major. So they didn't put it on the list because they didn't want to have too long of a list. But I'm hoping, I don't have high expectations. you know the difference. But one thing is, with that neighborhood stories, I am a little bit concerned about the impact on mods. Obviously, mods quite commonly break with big game updates. I mean, how big it is, because they're essentially moving things that are already in the game in expansion packs into base game, but then they're expanding it, and that part is the part that makes me a little bit concerned. So I would recommend, if you aren't sure, or if you don't want to play without your mods, to make sure your automatic updates are off, and that you go offline with Origin. You can even go offline with Origin after. It's just, if you want to play, you have to be offline with Origin. As long as you have those automatic updates off, it doesn't really matter. So, because mods are probably going to break, I highly recommend checking out the Sims forum. There's always a post there. I know in my Facebook group, I will link it on my update post so that it's a spot to go and check. Obviously, if you're on Discord, Debtorpool's Discord is a good place to keep track of stuff too. And there are some other ones, but that's the one I mainly look at to, know when mods are updated, because I think mods are going to break. Some mods are definitely going to break. Whether it's going to be a lot of mods or only some, I'm not sure. I personally am going to be going offline, and I'm going to make sure I take a backup of my saves before I go into them, because, sometimes game updates can cause damage to saves. So I'm going to avoid that. Hopefully that's not the case in this case, but just to be safe. So let me know what you think about the neighborhood stories that are coming, and, the sneak peek at possible what some of our Sims, NPC Sims, or whatever you want to call them, playable characters, look like. Do you like the new look, or would you like them to change a little bit more? In a comment down below. But that's going to be it for this video. Leave a like if you liked it. It really helps with the algorithms. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!